Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Ishvaro Guratmeti Murtibeda Vibhagine Vyomabda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sabhavedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatosh Maham Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. We begin from the page 1728. We are looking to the nature of devotion, the bhakti, the bhakta. So Krishna is dealing with the topic of Sakama and ni.kama bhakti. Krishna is not against Sakama bhakti. So our tradition, it says that we begin wherever we stand. So if we haven't developed yet the understanding, the open-minded view, that life is about offering contributions to not only God, but to the people around yourself, and because everything is resolved in Ishvara, as Ishvara. So if one is not there yet, so you can just be a Sakama Bhakta, meaning to say you do actions because you want the results to be yours, and usually they are just worldly gains. So, and there is no problem about that because we cannot pretend to be something or to be somewhere where we are not. So we have to be honest with ourselves. But the thing is, a bhakta is a bhakta. A devotee is already in its way, so to speak, in this process of spiritual elevation, purification. Why? Because he has included Ishvara in his life. He understands that there is a creator here, and somehow I need to gain its sympathy. Above all, I can only become a devotee if I observe the laws and principles of the Lord. I can only be a devotee, according to our sampradaya, if I observe Dharma. Otherwise, what kind of devotee you are? You don't have respect to the Lord. You violate God's laws and principles right and left, and then you say, hey, God, so help me here, this and that. No, to be a Sakama Bhakti, you are at, on your way because you are observing Dharma. But you want things for yourself, and usually worldly gains. No? So this Bhakta here, Sakama Bhakta, is also referred to as, there is another name that's going to appear here. Okay. So we should very clearly remember that the Sakama Bhakti is not someone who keeps doing Papa Karma. So Papa Karma, what is Papa Karma? The actions in violation of Dharma that are going to bring about negative results. Papa Karma, Papa actions. So meaning to say that Sakama Bhakti does not do actions in violation to Dharma. So it's someone already making a huge effort to break this human natural avidya, ignorance, to break the laws and rules, because I want what I want, the way I want, when I want. So Sakama Bhakti is not ni.iddha karma. Is not. I did not look for the meaning of this word, but most probably means karmi, that present actions in violation of Dharma. Therefore, Sakama bhakti or Sakama actions do not bring down a person. Sakama actions is only an obstacle to spiritual growth, and it's said that the Sakama bhakti is not going to be destroyed by one's actions, but it will remain for a period of time in a kind of spiritual stagnation. So we understand that. So we begin growing when we begin what? Not only take extracting, oh Lord, thank you, oh Lord, thank you, oh Lord. I'm observing Dharma and I'm extracting, and I'm not sharing or giving anything. So that is spiritual stagnation. You are not declining, but you are not elevating yourself or growing, right? But the people who are not devotees of the Lord, they don't have this attitude, this vision, this understanding of this relationship between the creature and the creator and its laws and principles. The person who is materialistic to begin with does not care for anything, does not believe in karma to begin with. Do not believe in karma. I remember I was mentioning some few things about my first guru yesterday. He used to make fun of people who believe in karma. You understand? Karma, it means that, you are suffering now because something you did 2, 3 lives, and then everybody would laugh. He used to make fun of our tradition. Just to get an idea that how easy it is to become spiritually famous if you present a materialistic spirituality. That's why we divide karmas in three kinds: good sattvika karmas, rajasa karmas, tamasa karmas. So as we know, good karmas, sattvic karmas, niskama karmas, howsoever we want to put it, will elevate the person spiritually. The tamasic karmas, actions, will bring and destroy the person spiritually. So we have those two extremes. The sattvic karmas elevates a person, the tamasic declines the person. Rajasic karmas keeps the person stagnate somewhere in between. But this is a general concept because somebody may be very rajasic, such as Swami Shimaya, but yet his actions were not self-centered. You understand? So there was a lot of action involved, but the nature was not self-centeredness. He was doing that for humanity. No? Sakama Bhakti is a form of Rajasa Bhakti only. Yeah, generally our sampradaya presents this the Sakama Bhakta as someone who is first of all interested in worldly gains, and because he pursue his or her desires in a kind of a dharmic manner. It means that he has a lot of energy because to compete, there is an ocean of worldly desires, of consumption, of worldly experience. And there is always the law of competition operating the field. So if he does such actions, and if he's a kami yogi in the first stage of the kami yoga, it means to say that he needs a lot of rajoguna, because in the opposition of this, the people that are very tamasic but has a lot of self-centered worldly desires, they just break the rules and the laws because it requires a lot of creativity, a lot of rajoguna to go there and compete honestly in the marketplace. So Rajas bhakti only. Sakama needs a lot of Rajoguna, and the other kind of bhakti, which is not a bhakti, the samsari, he is mainly a tamasic, and and he still pursue its desires, but try to trick, deceive, lie, and violate the rules and laws. So Sakama is always involved in material benefit, but not necessarily will bring down the person, but it remains an obstacle to spiritual growth that needs to be dealt with. Therefore, Krishna does not say that you should give away your actions for the sake of security and pleasures. Many people get confused about that. Now, Vedanta does not say that we should drop that kind of desires for security and pleasures and for involving materialist things naturally. Not pleasures is material goal and security is a material goal. So Swamiji, we are doing puja for children's admission. He's presenting us with hypothetical question present to him. We are doing pujas to cure some disease of other people. So many people many such vows are there. Kamas are there. Krishna does not say that one should drop all of that. He's trying to say that you can even do actions to help people, and doing pujas, doing rituals, and so on. That's okay. That's not bad karma, not a bad action altogether. You're even doing that for other people or cure your own disease. So everything is accepted actually. That provided one understands that there is God, there is a creator here. So this is a gradual transformation that takes the person from being a samsari, totally materialistically oriented, to become something like a spiritually materialist, because there are a lot of people that pretend to be spiritual, but if they don't understand that there is God, there is a creator, there is Ishwara, and there are some laws, ethic, moral, and psychology that needs to be observed, karmic. So if you don't integrate God in your life, so meaning to say you may wear beautiful white clothes and have crystals all around you and repeat some mantras and do all kinds of funny things, weird things. But you are just a materialistic spiritual person. So if you don't understand the importance of begin this relationship with God as the only way to grow spiritually, and then you are still navigating in the subtle materialism or spiritual materialism aspects of sadhanas that I do not consider spiritual at all. So this gradual transformation needs to be gradual. So the negative nishida karma, meaning to say karmas in violation, should be dropped straight away. That's for sure. You cannot have a relationship with the Lord and if you don't conform to the Lord's laws and principles. So you should stop all papa karmas in violation with God's laws and principles. So, but kamya karma should be gradually reduced. So, but it does not mean that you need to drop those self-centered actions that observe Dharma and they're putting in the field with a certain attitude of reverence to God, that which somehow does not decline you spiritually, does not destroy you spiritually, but does not evolve you spiritually either. These actions which keeps you stagnated should be dropped, but gradually. Gradual reduction, and they should be replaced by something like ni.kama or sattvika karmas or dharmic karmas, actions in harmony with the Dharma and require sattva guna and requires rajoguna as well. So more often than not, the grihastas, they begin growing when they start using their dharma, the rajoguna, to present actions which are dharmic by nature. And they have rajoguna, but they have sattva guna to discriminate in dharma and the dharma. So they keep putting actions which have some sattva associated with one's rajoguna, so that I can go and pursue my dreams. So this gradual reduction is the only way to grow. I utilize my actions for spiritual growth. Is the ultimate aspect of this model, this triangle format in which I am the doer of my actions, and I have the world before me, and I have also Ishvara, and I invoke Ishvara so that I can grow spiritually refinement, spiritual purification, spiritual preparedness is my goal, and my actions. They begin to have that fragrance of giving back to the field more and extracting less than you were doing before. It's just more or less on those lines. So this is the ultimate condition of the karma yogi who understood that the actions, they serve certain purpose. What is the main purpose of my actions is to transform my day-to-day activities in a sadhana. What kind of sadhana? So I do what I do in such a way, with such an attitude, that I know that is naturally producing my refinement, my purification. So what I want is, I want both. I want to accomplish my goals, but above all, first priority is spiritual growth. Yanya Varagya Siddha Sadyaktam. Purification of development of Varagya, capacity to understand the process of Shastra Vicharya with the help of the scriptures, or nididhyasana. So you want to go into those aspects of spirituality. My goal is all of that, and after all, I want to have Yananishta Siddharthyam. What is the meaning of Siddharthyam?
It means for the sake of accomplishing or attaining vairagya through knowledge.
Thank you. Very nice. Means not forgetting the teachings. So if any prayer, the prayer is, let me not forget the goal of my life, let me not forget the scriptures, let me never get distracted and never get astray from my real purpose here. Because sometimes we get caught up with so much doings, that people somehow they lose their way. I have seen it sometimes. Sometimes people they get into very, very difficult, complex, conflicted karmas, family and this and that, and then the mind begins developing too much conflicting interests, rajoguna, tamoguna, some sattva guna, and then when you see the person somehow suspended subconsciously this process. So if we have some desires as a grihastha especially, I have to do many actions in order to fulfill those desires. So what a grihastha should do? Well, the first thing is, try not to have 5 children, because if you have 5 children, you're going to have to run around all the time to provide. Are you with me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you guys' image froze here. So if we agree hustle, we have to, somehow not to get. I have a student in Portuguese language that she has a good mind and so on. I met her in one presential or personal kind of seminar. She had 2 children, and then later on she contacted me. Said, "Oh, I'm pregnant again. How beautiful! Third child is coming." And I knew that they were having already enough trouble with 2 children. So I mean that is unconscious mechanism somehow that takes us into more, uh, you know, complexities, karmic complexities that are going to be obstacles. So we need to stay focused and avoiding creating even more obstacles, more difficulties, so that we can simplify our life. Simplify. I am a grihastha, yes, but I don't have a long list of requirements or desires. My desires are very simple because my desire is spiritual growth, my main desire. So a grihastha has to have that kind of viveka, to understand and to just I have certain duties, okay, but I'm not going to overdo. My wife may put pressure on you because she wants a better house, a better deed. I'm sorry, baby. You can always find somebody else, but I have my own personal goals as well, which is a much higher purpose of life. So there are many obstacles as a grihastha. There will be tendency to approach the Lord to ask for help, and that is natural. There is nothing really wrong about that, but we have to gradually grow out of that, and such a bhakti becomes a ni.kama bhakti, a ni.kama bhakta. Simply, if any prayer is prayer, so give me viveka, give me discrimination so that I don't lose my way, give me balance and emotional strength to deal with a lot of papan when they manifest. So we can have that kind of, and above all, to give thanks to God for whatsoever, for Rabba that manifests before us. So I'm say, so remember, Niskama Bhakti is moved by desire. Actually, human beings are moved by desire, period. But there are desires and desires and desires. Materialistic desires, they are going to propel you to work to accomplish those worldly desires. Yeah? That is the initial phase when the person starts doing things in accordance, in harmony with the Dhamma. So niskama means freedom from these materialistic desires. But a grihastha, he may have a desire to provide and give good education to children and so on. And that desire, that kind of desire is genuine and must be moderate. Okay? So it's genuine a desire of a mother to protect one child, the father who wants to provide good food and good education. But it has to be everything has to put in its proper scale or proportion. You don't need to become like, oh no, I want the best for my child, and then I want best house, best this and best. You have to help your children to not to fall for this materialistic bombardment, marketing bombardment in the mind of everyone nowadays. So my grandchild, my granddaughter, she's become materialist. The environment is all materialist. The mother is extremely materialist, and so one has to be able to say, no, 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 this is not really necessary. Okay, this is not necessary. So Sylvia has her brother in France, and they have good money, but they don't, they make a protection, against, they have only one child, and they don't allow this poison, materialism, and pump desire for these things enter their home. You understand? So you can keep it simple, even as a grihasta, provide you have enough discrimination to give priorities and different values for materialistic desires, and then they should be genuinely and moderately dealt with. And a desire for help, a desire for scriptures, desire for guru, desire for a more such of mental states. All of that is desire. Yeah? Desire for spiritual purification and refinement, that is desire. And Niskama wants mainly that is desire. And in the end, if the Niskama becomes an ni.iddha, that is a desire for moksha, mumukshudva. So it's all desire. We don't move without desire. So the question is, what kind of desire you want to be moved by? The desire to really grow spiritually, desire to admit, recognize, and admit, no, I'm lost in certain concepts that are not bringing about any improvement in my life, in my mind. And then turning to God, turning to the scriptures and asking, pray for a guru that you trust. Seek for help. It's a desire. It's a good desire. I was saved by a desire for surviving. I was so devastated in my when I was on my six when I was 16, 17, I was mentally, psychologically devastated. And when things were becoming to look almost impossible for me because I was about giving up everything, I had some suicidal thoughts. I used to write suicidal kind of poems, poetry, and then I asked for help. You know, I could have gone totally down, and then I asked for help, and there began my process, years of psychoanalysis, Freudian psychoanalysis, and then group therapies and one things, and then my first guru that I have been saying things, but it was perfect at the time for me. I could get some more therapy and I was introduced to meditation. Everything has its place. Even if I'm materialistic, you have to see like I want to be rich, but you want to be rich for what? Society requires business people who know how to produce money. But if you use the wealth, if you sit on huge wealth, you are stagnating wealth rather than making it move, giving opportunity, giving jobs, to other people to also grow, to start and so on. So you need to move your wealth. So even if you are wealth, it's okay. So do something good with your money. with your assets. You can use this for your spiritual growth and for the spiritual growth of others. If I'm asking for wealth so that I can do spiritual sadhanas, or I can help people by doing some donating for some noble cause, such as to gurukulas or ashrams and so on. But it begins with me. I remember it popped in my mind because I was talking about my first guru yesterday. I had a friend that was very close to this friend. And first time we went to meet my first guru was in Oregon. And in 1982, if I'm not wrong. And this friend of mine, he was there, and then he made an appointment to see one of those famous gurus that we used to look at those gurus, putting them up there as if they are half gods, working underneath, below, our real God, which was the guru, Semidevas, né? And he was saying, no, I want to stay here. I'm not going to go to Brazil. I want to find a job. But you don't have a green card. Doesn't matter. Green card will come later. I'm going to work like that. And then later on, because I need money, but you need money for what? For investing in my spiritual growth. And then he was telling me that, invest in my spiritual growth. Yes, yes, I want to make money so that I can come here as often as possible in the ashram, there in the community, to do therapies, because at our level, doing deep therapies, was the beginning of a process of spiritual growth. And there is something to it. It's not really spirituality, but it's cleaning up that there is a lot of manipulation and misleading concepts involving there. But if you don't clean up a little bit of that psychological mess, it's difficult to go into meditation, which is the first step that our guru was offering. So yeah, I want to make money so that I can invest in spiritual growth. When he said invest in spiritual growth, that's why I'm sharing this little passage. What popped in my mind, it's unbelievable. There are some things that it becomes registered. I haven't remembered that for all these 40 years, and now it came into my mind. What came to me when I think, oh my God, this guy is a businessman. He wants to invest, get the money to come here to do therapy so that he can grow fast, to grow into spirituality, And I found that very funny, But anyhow, you may get money to make life more conducive to your spiritual growth. But the most conducive lifestyle for spiritual growth is to begin with your relationship with God, becoming a karma yogi, and then gradually uh, your devotion will purify all those spiritual desires are not bad. Therefore, ultimately, what is a materialistic desire? What is a spiritual desire? We only know what is our motive. And any desire through I want to purify and yana, we call it in Sakama, desire, Sakama bhakti, mumukshu bhakti. Yeah? So it means to say that more important than what you desire is the intent behind that desire. Because like the analogy or the example of a doctor is going to begin a surgery and he has a cutter, and he's going to cut somebody up open. But the intent may be to save one's life rather than to kill someone. So you can make money and do things with good intention. Intention is more important than what you apparently do or do not do. So he's just reminding us of the previous verse in which if you are Sakama Bhakta, the formalities to be maintained through your pujas or rituals, and they are very, very strict. And if you make a mistake, you may even lose money. But he was saying, but once you become a niskama, your intention is not material goals. So therefore, you want spiritual growth, spiritual development, and then all these regulations they are meaningless. Yes, it becomes secondary because Ishvara is going to read the intention behind it, the attitude behind it. So if you are a sensitive person who loves God and who has love and empathy for other living beings, what kind of formality or regulations must be there to conduct your life as a good karma yogi, No need for formalities. When there is some distance only, you have to fill the protocol. When there is some distance only, you have to fill. Okay. Mumukshut Bhakta, the Bhakti for the Lord is a different type of dimension. Yeah. Mumukshut Bhakti altogether is a different kind of devotee. Yeah. So desire for moksha, desire for self-knowledge is the highest possible desire. And that makes someone the highest possible devotee of the Lord. It's difficult to explain this non-dual devotion, as we say, because the Lord now is my own intrinsic nature, which is consciousness and existence, the only reality. So I don't really require an object of devotion to do formal rituals or pujas. So my devotion is to understand, is direct to understanding these Mahavakyas of identity between myself and God as consciousness, the very consciousness I experience in my mind, So it's a different kind of devotion, but it's the most intense devotion. It's the most intense devotion. That's all I can say. The desire for self-knowledge through which you know that God is consciousness, my very, very same nature. Therefore, Krishna says, Putram Pushpam Palam Toyam, give whatever you like, then tell the Mahabharata story how Vidura removed the banana and gave the banana peel to the Lord. So I remember very briefly this Puranic story. So the Lord say, give anything to me, and then you may eat the banana and give the peel. The Lord say, it's okay, but it doesn't have much value because you're a businessman. Shankaracharya tells in Shivananda Lahari, the greatest devotee used the chapel to mark the art. So I will not go into details. I don't believe you, Swamiji. You're going to go into details. He's a big talker. He used the mouse as Abhisheka and straight away spat the water. Normally, it's supposed to be Arthasham. That does not mean that I will do that. Do not say da 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 da. What he has eaten, the remains he used for da 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 da, the great offering. Hunter, I don't relate to any of this. No? So Krishna therefore says, okay, can any one of you two elaborate on this passage loaded with Sanskrit and a Puranic story that I'm not familiar. I know the concept.
I think the first part was that offering water. He used his mouth and he spat the water, usually very impure, but it's just other examples of
Right.
giving the banana peel.
Guy the
Yeah.
peel of the banana, yeah. But then in the end, he became a gem of bhakta. Yeah? What is that?
I'm forgetting at the moment. Prayachati. I don't know. Maybe it's gained.
When they use the expression became a gem is representative of a jewel in the crown. So it's like he became the best of Bhaktas.
I know, I understand the mean, but if he's one who was giving dirt water and drinking and eating the banana, giving the peel, how come he became such a great bhakta?
Well, I think the word abhisheka is like the thing to offer. It's like the vessel which you hold the offering in. So he used his mouth as the vessel to hold the offering. And then because he didn't have anything else, obviously, and then he spat the water out as the offering.
Understood.
This is how I understand it. And even though that goes against the Dharma,
yeah,
as such,
it goes against the protocol and the rituals, but the intention was the highest. Therefore, he became a very, very high, a gem of a bhakta, as one puts him. Okay, now it makes better sense. Yeah. So the intention is everything. The motive. So not only Niskama Bhakti is expressed in the form of specific puja, Niskama Bhakti is expressed in the form of a very different lifestyle itself. It's not a mere patram, puspam, palam, samarpanam in the morning or evening. Niskama Bhakti transforms the very way of life into puja, so that is the goal here, to remember the Lord and develop that remembrance that's going to impact our attitude through our day-to-day interaction with the field. So I'm a fan of Kama Yoga, and unfortunately, most people they do not feel inclined because they are not much of they're not as romantic. Okay, let's say the thing of developing love and devotion, reverence to God. It requires someone who has more romantic inclination that express later on as devotion towards God. Understand? So people usually they are not very much into Karma Yoga. Only one aspect of the Karma Yoga, the rational aspect, they like to understand the relationship in the sense that I have to do my best to present my actions in harmony with the field and this and that, because I don't have full control over the results, but my actions count. And but then they remember this is understanding the nature of this karma relationship, actions and result of actions. So I have to understand that the system is Ishvara, you understand? But the other thing which makes karma karma yoga, the yoga aspect is this devotional feeling, emotional a romantic feeling of love to that which gave us everything, you know. So this romanticism, you know, this devotional attitude, such as the one expressed in the life of Abhedananda. I'm gonna remember to do it right away. I'm gonna look for Abhedananda and see if I find it and send you. So that is what makes Kama Yoga sadhana. Yoga goes to the attitude of devotion, reverence, love, and devotion. That does not have much of appeal among Vedantins, even in general. And that makes these aspects of the teachings not to have much of appeal in Western societies. You see, this appeal of devotion, which is the base of Vedanta, has an appeal in India, because in India people, they know what the devotion, everybody has a devotion towards God, howsoever one's level of understanding or attitude. But in the West, people do not, they prefer just to understand the system, Shwara, Jiva, Jagata system. But what transformed the most is what? You have to remember that transformation is the ultimate palan of self-knowledge. As Swamiji says, it must be taken in and digested and internalized so that it transforms our emotional personality, as he says, you know. Why? Because samsara is an emotional disturbance, emotional disease. And then disease that can only be cured with knowledge. But Vedanta says not only you need the knowledge, but you need to develop a certain attitude or emotion that we call devotion towards the Lord. Because without bringing into account God, the Creator, your intellectual academic knowledge of the scriptures is not really going to manifest as emotional transformation. Emotional transformation begins with devotion. And go and tell these people, you know, people do not like this in the West. They are devoted to what they want, devoted to their objects of desires, and so on. My actions is offered into the creation. I know that the entire creation consists of the laws of creation. Every action should be offered at the feet of the Lord, and with love and respect for all creatures and beings around you. Now, what is the feet of the Lord? It's my environment. I'm standing, you know, I'm walking, I'm transacting at the feet of the Lord. The feet of the Lord, the creation, is not only the physical manifestation, but it is the intelligent structure of laws and principles that sustains it. So that vision has to be kept in mind. My action then is offered into my environment, knowing that there are several laws operating in it. The laws alone we can see as the feet of the Lord. And when I take back the actions, the karma has been converted into karma pala. When I take the results of actions, I'm just receiving the pala, the results. My actions are kind of seeds that I plant. And then later on, I'm going to, I've forgotten again that word, reap the fruits of my seeds. So the entire environment, our world, is the feet of the Lord. So he's trying to say, but how can I visualize that I'm presented at the feet of the Lord? Because when you go into a temple, you do your thing, there is the Lord and there is the feet, and then I have to put a banana here, da, 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 da. But no, you are Kama Yogi. You have to see that the entire environment around us is the feet of the Lord. Krishna, but when Sakama becomes Ishwara Prasada, beautiful. The result is what? It's like a given and taken, given and taken. Giving something back to the Lord and take the results. And if results are a bitter fruit, you say yes, that's okay, and it serves certain purpose. It means to say that I have moved away from God, and now I'm getting some bitter results. And therefore, the future events are always welcomed by you because you take them as gifts from the Lord, opportunities from the Lord, prasada. For an Niskama Bhakta, there cannot be much stress, concern, preoccupation, anxiety. All of these come when I'm a particularly body-mind entity who wants to do things to get the results that I want. So I will not have the open-minded attitude or knowledge or perspective to understand that I can't control Parabhada. I cannot control what Ishwara gives back. I need to keep this knowledge, anista knowledge, this understanding of Ishwara system, so that I can truly accept everything as prasada. If I want things my way, if there is a huge resistance in respect to what I want to have, so there is anxiety. The mind is disturbed. And furthermore, the mind is going to begin making a lot of viveka mistakes, because if you are emotionally disturbed with anxiety, fears, and anticipations and frustrations, so your viveka shakti is compromised, and you begin making more and more dharma, adharma, viveka mistakes. And we need to add the corollary. If all these are Ishwara, Apanam, their consequence are Ishwara Prasadam. What is Apanam?
An offering,
Offering. Yeah.
giving back. Yeah.
So if all of these are an opportunity for me giving back something to the Lord, and then the corollary here is that the results are Ishwara Prasadam. Why? Because I'm serving the Lord, and then Ishwara is going to grace me with my parabhada, which is prasada. And the prasada sometimes are sweet and sometimes are bitter. Any adult should know that and accept that. Every and any religious adult. So this is the attitude behind the Niskama Bhakta. Now, when we read this, we should be reminded of some other topics we studied recently. When I talk about devotion, giving back or dedicating my actions to Ishwara and taking the results as prasada, we should be reminded that on the second and third chapters, the topic of Kama Yoga. And then he presents here in the verse 48, but it's not translated. I don't know if...
Be steadfast in the performance of your duty, O Arjuna, abandoning attachment to success and failure. Such equanimity is called yoga.
Beautiful. This is the verse 48 or 30?
This is 48. 30 is performing all works as an offering unto me. Consistently meditate on me as the supreme. Become free from desire and selfishness, and with your mental grief departed, fight.
Wow, so beautiful. I mean, it almost brings tears to my eyes, you know. Can you repeat it again, please?
Do you want 30?
30.
Performing all works as an offering unto me, constantly meditate on me as the supreme. Become free from desire and selfishness, and with your mental grief departed, fight.
Very beautiful. I think the word that really hit me very directly is becoming free of selfishness. The human nature is selfishness. I don't know how to say.
Selflessness.
Yeah,
Selflessness.
selfness. I don't know. It's too difficult for me. It's to be felt selfish, yeah? And to transcend this human nature is a huge expression of spiritual elevation, you know, be free from that. Because he says, and be free from desire and selfishness. So desire, we can always say like, okay, I have some other desires, but good desires, they are sattvic desires, but they better not be selfish. It's even if I mean we can even have a conversation about that. Say, but the desire for moksha or self-knowledge is selfish because, but it's okay because this is a desire for something that comes about only personally, individually, according to one's personal individual effort. So, like certain concepts, I have heard that we're gonna get enlightened only if everybody is coming along and to get everybody enlightened. Besides, I don't know if you probably heard about this concept. It's somewhere there in the Buddhism. So no, because I'm saying that because some people believe that we Vedantins we are self-centered beings because we want to save ourselves. So you can only save yourself, and that does not make us selfish, you know. Selfishness is natural that you want to recognize your true ananda nature. You know, it's the most natural impulse that human beings have, but they are usually not really clearly apprehended, and then they go about trying to fulfill all other worldly desires. So to transcend the desire which is sakama or selfish, it says much about the nature of spiritual elevation. While defining Karma Yoga in the second and third chapter, Krishna said Karma Yoga is Ishvara Apana Bhavana and Prasada Bhavana. Both sides is karma, attitudes as a service, as giving to Ishvara, and the attitude, the other attitude is taking the Parabhada as prasada, with gratefulness in our hearts. Krishna says Niskama Kama Bhakti involves Ishvara, both aspects. Niskama Kama Bhakti involves both. It is what we call a Karma Yogi. Yeah? Karma and yoga. Actions serving the field and receiving whatsoever results with gratitude in one heart. That's the way to transform one's emotional personality. What is our conclusion then? Karma Yoga is identical with Niskama Bhakti. Yeah. Different names pointing to the same thing. And that's why some people, they look down at Kama Yoga. I have some people that do not come to my Bhagavad Gita class in Portuguese because they think that they are too good for that. They want to study Upanishads and this and that. So, but more often than not, people did not even become a good Kama yogi. They did not get yet enough preparedness through Kama yoga. Kama yoga is the way to go because you're going to purify from all of those self-centered desires. Even if they are in observance of Dharma. Therefore, Kama Yoga and Niskama Bhakti is the same thing. Then why two different names? This is very nice. From the standpoint of action, it's called Karma Yoga. From the standpoint of the attitude of receiving the results, it's said devotion. Krishna said, so we offer our actions with an attitude of love and reverence and donation and dedication, remembering that the Lord, everything is given to the Lord. When we give as a karta and as a bhakta is receiving whatsoever with a spirit of reverence and gratitude for the opportunity, regardless of the results. Where is that Ishvara? If somebody would ask you, Mark, where is this Ishvara? So somebody in our tradition said that if anybody asks us this question, we know what to tell, no? Where is Ishvara not? Where is God not? Where is God? Where is God not? Remember, I'm reminded, say Swamiji, somebody wrote, God is nowhere. God is nowhere now. This vote came very correct. He said, God is now and here. Nowhere, now and here. Therefore, a Niskama Bhakti, a Karma Yogi, having developed the understanding and the devotional attitude, does not need to have a temple, does not need to do pujas or rituals in the puja room, because the life itself, the environment itself is a temple, and one's regular, ordinary actions are the opportunity of offering whatsoever we can offer to the Lord. We can practice Kama Yoga anywhere, everywhere. It's important. This thought is very important. Up to this, we saw in the last class. Thank you, Swamiji. I was thinking like, oh, we're gonna have to revise things of the last class, but it's always beautiful. This, no? The song of the Gita is wonderful. Okay, so tomorrow I won't be able to offer our class, and the rest of the week I won't be able because I'm going traveling to pick up Sylvia and do some errands in Brazil. But we meet again next Monday, okay? You have you know your schedule for next week, Mark? By any chance?
I'm not sure what schedule I'm on next week. I'm reading one. No, I won't be able to attend on Monday because I'm working between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Okay, when you have once you have your schedule, share with us, and then we see if we can move around to have you with us as well. Okay?
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really appreciate that.
Most welcome. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate Om Shanti 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 Om Okidoki. Namaste Ishwara. Namaste Lynn. Namaste Mark. Sylvia.